Is there a difference between strings on a violin and rubber band? Stay tuned, and today I tell you everything. When is the right time to change the strings? Hello, back again. This is Edgar from Cremona, Italy. I do nothing else than building instruments, and the very last step is pulling up the strings. And then when customers come, play all the instruments, they love it, and one of the final steps is, Master, when do I have to change the strings? Good question. Recently I was thinking about it very much, especially in the morning when I come into my workshop. I have to open the doors. First the one with the key, and then the other one, which has a small part in metal, which I use rubber bands to keep it up so I can open it easy. And at the time you put on the rubber band, you would say this will last for long. But since every day it's moving and the sun is heating up during daytime, this rubber band at a certain point breaks. And it breaks because the rubber doesn't stay all time like our oil varnish we put on instruments over thousands of years. Elastic, no, the rubber band becomes brittle and then breaks. So the string on an instrument is very similar, because the string on an instrument is nothing else than it's moving all the time, right? And you play it with the bow. It vibrates like crazy and it lasts actually for a long time. Now last week we had a very interesting customer here, and the girl explained me that she didn't rehair the bow and she didn't change the strings at all, since her master didn't change strings for the past 6 years. I'm not here to give you a lesson to spend more money into strings. I don't sell strings. Of course, if you're now here, I could give you some strings and then I make you the price of the strings, but my business is not selling strings. I buy strings to pull them up on instruments, then I sell the instrument, okay? So this is like a side cost, but I just wanted to give you an answer on this question, on this when is the right moment to change the string. The lesson from the rubber band of the door in the morning is actually the first thing. It is in aging. After a certain period of time, every string is tired of vibrating, and the material itself has exhausted. Okay, so that you just have something which is pulled and then it makes a certain frequency. It could last, as we could hear from the violin teacher of this girl, 6 years. I didn't even know that it could last that long. She told me that the strings were really gross and really black and dirty. I couldn't imagine even the E string must be super rusty, and I don't know what's hanging on those strings, some monkeys, or I don't know. I would not probably, wouldn't consider this kind of it, but you certainly saved a lot of money, so I must be very rich. And on the other side, you have physical properties of the strings. Violin string is not violin string, and it's big, huge difference what kind of material. Let's say olive with a gut and then silver around, or you have already Pirastro Eva Pirazzi, or the Tomastic Dominant, or with nylon, super old but still working very well. Kind of these things, they have different lifetimes of how long they maintain a certain characteristics of that string, and the characteristics at the very end make a certain quality of sound. So it depends also a lot of what you actually expect of these strings and what is the part which you love that much. Let's say the Eva Pirazzi, the green ones, are very easy bringing. They give you a lot of pleasure while playing because they help these responding so quick, and so that at a certain point everybody seemed that only Eva Pirazzi, the green ones. Then came the gold ones, and then also other companies, and then Tomastic didn't wait to go bankrupt, and they really worked hard and brought out a lot of good strings. At a certain point, the type of sound is probably the major ingredient where a musician which plays every day for a certain amount of hours is considering to change the strings because he loved the strings when he pulled them up in the very beginning. Indeed, then they change them and they put them up again again because they want this specific sound. It just pops up in my mind. Vienna Philharmonic, the viola section, pulls up the Allianz A string, and every week they needed a new one, but they like the sound of that A string. Just an example. That doesn't mean that now 1 week is the time frame you have to change your strings. They could last also for 1 month, 2 months, 6 months. But after 6 months, especially if you play every day, I guess it's time to consider to get a new string. If you don't want to get them and you stick on your old strings and you have the string cleaner, which I am selling also with the microfiber cloth, there's a set, you can get it. You can certainly clean the strings, and if you maintain your strings very well and all this sweat and dirt you clean out every time or once a week when you're playing, this could help that you could play the string a little bit longer, or the string keeps that certain characteristics of the sound, but still you're far away of 6 years keeping the same strings, okay? It all comes down to the time, the quality you love, and how much you are playing. Because if you don't play that much, they don't consume that much. At a certain point, but by not playing, they get older, and then you have to change them because of that. And when you open the case after months, they will be black, and the silver is going to become black. The E string, the shiny E string, becomes rusty. Probably when you slip by playing Paganini or something, you will even cut yourself, so it's getting already dangerous. But said that, the correct time is actually for everybody a little bit different. Last tiny ingredient, similar like with a small rubber band, a very thin one, compared to a thick one. The thick one will last a little bit longer, right? And on instruments, we have cello strings compared to a violin string. I believe they maintain the quality much longer compared to a violin string. Probably because they are thicker, like the rubber band, compared to a thin rubber band where it's more delicate, and so it's quicker to be exhausted, the material, and you have to change it. While I was talking, I just pointed out a little bit the string cleaner and the microfiber cloth. You don't have to buy it from me, but if you want to make me a favor and make me happy, place an order, buy the string cleaner set with the microfiber, clean your strings, you can last them for a little bit longer, and the instrument sounds even better, and you make me happy as well. But this entire video is not to become rich because of my string cleaner, okay? Just I hope you got the message and you appreciate the content. And if you love it, subscribe, put a like, and leave your comment how long you play what kind of strings of your instruments. We're all curious to know. Christian is a professional electric pop guitarist, studied it and has been doing concerts, and he asked me, what do you think about boiling the strings? Electric guitar players know that some people boil their strings in water. They do that for one reason, to clean the strings. If they would have my string cleaner with a microfiber, they could avoid boiling them with water so they don't get rusty, and they have the same effect. They do nothing else than boiling among these wires around. There is dirt inside, and by boiling the string they clean them up, and then they pull them up, and they definitely sound better. By boiling they also accelerate the oxidation of the material, so I think it's not really super good. It depends on the string, what kind of string you're playing. In the guitar world you're playing with probably steel, which doesn't oxidate, so then you can boil them. In the violin world you couldn't do that, especially let's say a dominant Tomastic dominant, you couldn't boil, they would be destroyed for the rest of your life, and all the other strings as well, actually. Yeah. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.